ship should be in the water, water should not be in the ship. It kind of like blew my mind.
See, you know what is the what does lotus symbolize? In all our God's hand, we give a lotus. Right? The lotus is there in the hand of Narayana. And lotus is there in all gods. One side weapon will be there, other side lotus will be there. And we say, Pada Padma, the God is standing on the lotus. Right? Or God is sitting on the lotus. The lotus is actually the symbol of enlightenment. The lotus flower is born in mud, grows up in water, but blooms with sunlight. So similarly, but lotus is not affected by water. Lotus is not affected by mud. All of us are born in a society. And society has its own mud, variety of mud, society and environment. Right? We have to grow out of that. And when we come to water, what is life? Constantly changing. But we have to bloom with sunlight. That means wisdom. Light is the wisdom. And lotus flower is beautiful. So that's why lotus is the symbol of enlightenment. All our gods either stand on lotus or sit on lotus or hold lotus, saying enlightenment means like being like lotus. What is being lotus like lotus? Ship has to be in water, but water cannot be in the ship. Our entire journey of life is to understand how does the world doesn't get into head. All leakages have to be plugged so that world doesn't affect us. On the contrary, we develop the inner development and contribute to the world. So this is what is our spiritual journey is all about.
Guruji, if just one comment, like this is what you mentioned. It all, I feel I got the same learnings from Bhagavad Gita. So these has been helpful. But there are so many other shastras, right? Like upanishads and all that. So I started reading some of those, and even Subhugar covered some of those, like this and all that. But again, I mentioned that I feel that all these have the same things. They are talking about Brahman and how to realize yourself. So then why are there so many shastras when everything is pointing to one? They could have just said in one.
Why there are so many shastras? So Ram, first time when I came to America back in 1998, I went to a hotel. All that I wanted was a cup of coffee. So in India, I knew only cup of coffee. So there is so many latte, there are 50 varieties. My God, so many 50 varieties. Okay. I didn't know which is coffee there. So many names. Cappuccino, then so many varieties of this thing is there. In India, I knew only one cup of coffee. Then I said, give me a small cup of coffee. So that small cup, I was shocked. It is like this big size, right? For my small cup, right? For me, small cup is this much. For America, small cup is this much. Okay. I felt I have come to Lilliput have come to Gulliver's land. Big people. I'm chota come into the country. And so many varieties. Why so many varieties? Coffee is only one thing, no? Huh? So many varieties are there. Why? Because people by nature come from different backgrounds, different circumstances. Something will appeal to somebody. There's no one shoe fits all. Right? There's no one shoe fits all. So there are different sizes, different dimensions. Something which fits for us, we'll have to find out. And something else which fits for somebody else, they'll find out. So I would like to ask you, you want a cup of coffee, find out which coffee suits you. Drink it. Don't worry about other type of coffee. You can't drink all of them. Similarly, there are so many scriptures. What suits you, what you get attracted, stick to that. There are so many varieties, all of them same thing, tell same thing in different ways. Something will appeal to somebody.
No, but they
That's
said each of these Upanishads and all cover different aspects of, some talk about rituals, some talk about what happens after death and all that, right? So that's why,
Yeah,
should we read
I'm
all
saying-
these things?
I'm saying the question is what you need to try to get. There are so many things are there in the market, right? You go to supermarket, you will not want to buy the whole supermarket. You will buy the groceries, what is required for you. So don't get lost in scriptures. What is that you are seeking? Try to get that. Beyond that, don't worry about that. Somebody is trying to understand what happened after death. What is the authentic answer? He'll go to that. Somebody will try to understand what is karma yoga, how to do that. He'll find out that. So what is your question? What is your seeking? For that, try to find answer rather than what is there in the whole of the scriptures. Don't worry about that.
Okay, that's a good point. So does it mean that trying to realize Brahman is the ultimate thing and that should be enough?
See, simple. Scriptures are teaching one line, Tattvamasi, that you are. That's all. Now, you listen to that and you are understood and realize it, none. What matters over. But you don't realize. Then you have some gaps, some questions. The gap you try to fill up with scriptures rather than studying all the scriptures.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Thank you. Yeah.
Got it. Anybody else? Any questions? Harshali. So basically, the truth is very simple. Satyam Shivam Sundaram. You are already that. You don't have to become that. Okay. But the simplicity is something which our mind cannot understand. It has to be
That
told
is
in very
always true.
complex ways. The simple most thing is very difficult to understand.
Something
can
like if
understand very
someone is
complex.
giving something like someone giving free, they think, why are they giving free? If it's
Why
costly,
they-
then they'll they know the importance of that.
Not costly. So basically, Upanishad is very simple, damn simple. You are that, Tattvamasi. Now, problem is, what is so simple, our mind cannot accept it. There must be some hidden thing, agenda here. Okay, something more is required. Something more is required. Mind will keep on craving for something more complex.
Yeah, thank you very much, Subhuj. I think Guruji, like, so same thing. I think as Subhuj is mentioning, even for kids, if we can give with examples in their way of understanding, I think they'll be in a better off position in what you call as understanding and also dealing with the circumstances that they come across in the studying or getting into the world, right? So because for them it's everything is new, and sustaining those pressures, I think these scriptures will certainly help.
Very important. See, problem with our life, this thing is, we have a education for making living, where we are taught competition, how to compete and get a better marks from than others. So we have been taught that life is a competition, life is an intense survival of the fittest. Okay, we are not being told higher values of life, peace, love, how to live in life, how to not get affected by life. This is what you call a spiritual teaching. So that's missing in our education. And that makes actually what we are missing in education, we are trying to compensate later part of life. It's called adult education. What we missed in our early education, we could have applied it easily, but we didn't. We learned only how to compete, how to be successful, how to be very powerful. And we understand the world is full of fittest, survival of the fittest. We didn't understand the real nature of the world. If children are taught, they'll be better able to manage stress. They'll be able to overcome, and they'll be able to live life, a beautiful life. So that's why we have a program for children called I Lead, where at a young age, we are telling them the value of life, how values. We don't get into their schooling education. Schooling education they'll do, but how to develop the inner qualities is what we try to teach children.
What age group is that program for, Prabhuji?
It starts at the age of 4. Okay, it goes all the way up to, whatever they can take.
Okay.
Age 4, we tell them stories. Through stories, we try to bring out some values inside. And as they grow, they start telling stories.
Okay.
So that their communication skills will improve and their internalization of the truth will be more. Then they will also start telling Harikatha, the stories of gods. We have a lot of children who are getting coming up in Harikatha. So then they learn chant Veda mantras, then what we call as Gayatri mantra, and then Bhagavad Gita. Many things they learn, and that learning is like they learn offline. The schooling is from Monday to Friday, so they will learn on Saturday or Sunday. But in the process, they'll gain a lot of things, values.
So, Guruji, one question I had, and I asked it in our satsang in Chinmay Mission, is if Bhagavad Gita is so important, then they should have, when we studied in India, we should have been taught that, right, as children. But nobody taught us that. But now we're trying to realize it at this age and trying to learn it.
Right.
But at least from what I've seen at Chinmay Mission is, like how you mentioned, when their kids are younger, they teach through stories. And once they go to middle school and high school, they teach them Bhagavad Gita. And I think it's been helpful. So it looks similar to that you're doing. So I think it's a good idea. And I wish we learned it when we were young, here itself in India.
The problem here is we are a secular country. There are a lot of political pressures to teach Bhagavad Gita in the schools. So everything ultimately goes by vote bank. So Bhagavad Gita is considered as a Hindu scripture. In reality, it is a spiritual teaching, which is actually nothing to do with the religion. It's beyond religion. So unfortunately, people confuse religion, spirituality, they confuse. In the process, our education is affected. Yes, today many schools are understanding that, and they're trying to teach Bhagavad Gita off the syllabus, because syllabus government cannot make because of secularism or whatever brand which is there, or vote bank politics. Many schools are teaching Bhagavad Gita. Our own volunteers are also teaching in many schools. But yes, it should be made a part of our education one day.
Yes. I don't want to put Subbugaru on the spotlight, but like suppose we are all maybe at an elementary school level of Vedanta, right? But maybe Subbugaru is in middle school or high school level. So I would like to see what kind of questions he has. It's even with all the knowledge he's got. Subbugaru, can you ask some questions to Guruji?
The only question is, based on the teachings, I can, based on your teachings, whatever I understood, I can explain them. But Atma Jnana, Atma Vichara is something I cannot explain. So that is the only thing. How do they understand the concept of self?
So have you gone through my Atma Vichara talks?
Not yet. Right?
So you have to go through my Atma Vichara talks. I have given hundreds of talks on Atma Vichara.
Okay.
So you don't understand the concept of self. You drop the concept of self. It's not one more understanding. So basically, Atma Vichara, self-inquiry, is not to get one more knowledge about self. It's dropping about all false concept of self. So how does it happen? The way it happens is your concept of self is questioned by the Guru in various ways. When you say I, you have a concept of self. The Guru questions that concept in various ways. So Subbu, can you start a fresh recording? I'll tell you.